Hello guys, Mr. King back here once again, and you should have titled the video Ricardo Real Deal Martinez versus Wally, one of the most gifted fighters of all time, one of the most broken fighters of all time. You cannot put Wally into a corner. Untelegraphed punches like he's Brian Hart. Excellent footwork. He got all the key components, and his main downfall was he did not have the proper boxing IQ. But not since he does have the proper boxing. Well, since he was going. Whoa, wait a minute. I just thought about this. What if with Wally, the reason he was going around the world taking on these different type of challenges wasn't to actually fight like mind-blowing elite fighters? It was purely to improve Wally's boxing IQ and to get him to as many fights as possible. And everybody he fought was his actual live sparring partners, and he's learning on the job like he's Anthony Johnson or something. If Miguel did that, Miguel's a genius. If Miguel has turned all of Wally's opponents, and the reason he got 24 fights with 25 fights, and there were the sparring partners, oh boy. Oh boy, there's so many different ways. So many different ways this fight can turn out. Ricardo Martinez, Wally. There's so many fights happening. This is ridiculous. And it's just like, this just keep happening back to back. We just got out of a fight. We got another one announced. We got Mishra on the way. We got. It's too much, man. It's too much. It's too much. Why are there so many things happening? This is ridiculous. It's all at the same time. I'm reading and watching Baki. Is it just synchronicity all at the same time? And that's what it feels like. But to get into the whole fight for speculation between Ricardo Real Deal Martinez versus Wally, the genius, the legend, the myth, one of the best fighters to ever put on a pair of gloves. Easily one of the best fighters to ever put on a pair of gloves. I don't know how that fight would turn out. Because that's the thing, the whole key thing is, the whole main reason why it's so hard to actually speculate on a Ricardo Martinez fight is quite simply because of, we have not seen him get pushed to the limit. We have not seen him go against somebody who pushed him to the limits where Ricardo, as testified by Alfredo Gonzalez, that Ricardo Martinez would switch up to a more aggressive, close-range monster style, which is factual. This is what he's done. This is how he pretty much beat Alfredo Gonzalez the second time. So against Wally, it depends how he chose to pin Wally down. He was already hard enough for Ippo to pin down Wally, and mostly the way Ippo pinned down Wally was eating a face full of fish and pushing through pure aggression. Just grinding his face against the welder again and again and again and again and again and again. That was his overall strategy there. But against Ricardo Martinez, and seeing the way he destroyed the Dempsey roll, would it be that hard for Ricardo Martinez to defeat Wally when he already destroyed Ippo at the Dempsey roll? But there's a caveat to that. That was a young Ippo. He was still a championship fighter. He wasn't a world fighter yet. So that was a different Ippo. That wasn't a refined Dempsey roll. That wasn't even a new Dempsey roll. It was still the early days Dempsey roll when he used to get Ricardo Martinez. But what he did was impressive nonetheless, because Ippo could not move, and the jab was so perfectly timed, it made Ippo look like a turtle. So it can go either way with that, because Wally does have the footwork, and Wally could be even faster and even quicker than he is now. So it's just, there's so many different things that can actually happen. So many things. So many things. So many things. I just came off the hype of the recent chapter, so I gotta apologize for this, but there's so many ways this fight could turn out. There's so many different ways, because we've already seen how AJ Dante didn't have a lot of footwork, but I guess let's use AJ Dante as a template. Have you ever seen Ricardo Martinez to go against somebody with as fast as a feet as Wally? Somebody say, oh, Alfredo Gonzalez had good footwork. Sure, Alfredo Gonzalez had good footwork, but Alfredo Gonzalez and Wally's footwork are not even the same league. Like seriously, Wally will blow out his shoes before Fredo Gonzalez has got a chance to hit a bullet. Before he get a chance to hit a shot fired, Wally would have already been blown out of his shoes, and you just see smoke. That's it. That's the type of speed we're working on here. This is speed beyond speed here. But I still say it's a Gake in the fears. I think it's a Gake. It's the only other character in this series whose footwork could potentially surpass Wally or be on the same level. It's a Gake is the only other character. Because Wally's a different breed. Entirely. He's an absolute monster. So it's just like seeing Ricardo Martinez deal with someone with such speed, seeing how Ricardo Martinez try to pin someone down, and not cool in the fact is Wally had all this talent, right? And if y'all have been using all these different opponents as sparring partners, if Ricardo Martinez destroys Wally just like he did, like an Alpha or Fredo Gonzalez or AJ Dante the second time, if that happens, then we can argue that no one can beat no one can beat Ricardo Martinez. No one. If he gives him no type of fight, if Wally gives Ricardo Martinez no type of fight, and he just gets outright slaughtered, there is no character. If Wally doesn't stand a chance, oh, Ippo beat Wally, this and that. Ippo barely survived that fight. You can't say he wasn't beaten up like a piñata. So if Wally gets destroyed with experience and boxing IQ like he's a joke, then there is absolutely no chance. Besides, I can't even say Stilner can beat Ricardo Martinez at that point. Unless at least Wally gonna have to get some damage in. Not nothing serious, but I don't know. It depends how much stronger Wally has gotten. I've already made that whole thumbnail, but like when I made that video about how strong Wally would be and him showing back up to the story, there was no absolute guarantee. But look at me, being right again. It was a lucky guess. It was a lucky guess. That's all that was. But it's actually mind-blowing. This is actually happening. This is actually Wally, and then we get to see Miguel. Will we ever get, like, I hope one day, eventually we get to find out what actually happened with Ralph Anderson. Hopefully Korigama and Miguel Hill will have that fight, but the fight's not happening inside of Japan, so there's no way they'd be able to have that fight. At least, Ippo and the coach go there to watch, but there'd be no reason for Ippo to bring the coach unless the coach just say, yeah, I got some tickets, you want to go over there? Yeah, let's go. He said Ippo to Mexico by himself. We still don't know, because Ippo has not revealed what he learned from Mexico yet. He said he gained something, and we never got a reveal of it. We never did. So it's just... what will he gain from this one? I'm pretty sure, out of anybody Wally has fought, Ippo has given him the most willing to fight. He was up on the points. Ippo was bloody and battered. Ippo was still in the fight, but he was bloody and battered. And then Wally's footwork failed him, and then the fight was pretty much over. And got hit with the Dempsey roll. But what if Ricardo Martinez shut down his footwork? If Wally doesn't have a proper infighting game, if he doesn't have any type of defensive skill similar to the Gake in the pocket, then he's also getting murdered by Ricardo Martinez. Because inside the pocket is apparently, according to Fredo Gonzalez testimony, is where Ricardo Martinez lives most of his life. There's a reason why he's been stagnant. There's a reason why he found most of his opponents boring. Because AJ Dante didn't bring out anything in him. Billy McCullough didn't bring out anything in him. And the only time he was excited was Sendo. For Ricardo just to out of nowhere switch up. What have Wally done? Who has he destroyed? What have Wally could have done to somebody for it to be like, I want my next opponent to be Wally? Someone with more potential than Sendo to give Ricardo Martinez what he wants? And arguably this is probably the best thing that could have happened to Sendo. Because I don't see how Mai is an easy touch with Sendo at all. But it will allow him to get back into the ring and not just go out there and just fight Ricardo Martinez afterwards. After spending that time in rehab once again. So, because it has been some time that has passed. So, I think he does need a fight to be like, I got the hang of thing. I didn't go into a Ricardo Martinez fight. But, It is interesting how Fuji only mentions one governing body. He mentioned the WBA. And sure, he does have the WBA belt, of course. And Ricardo Martinez is only obligated to fight his mandatories. Of course, that is factual. But you expect that they actually will spread out and say everything else? Because if Wally's just ranked number 3, then why not fight Sendo if Sendo's number 1? It doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. Why would he change his, like, what did, like, Fuji's not telling us something. All these are questions if those fights really took place or not. What is he over there, like sparring and just taking out kickboxers and Muay Thai specialists over there? It's Thailand? What caliber of opponent was he fighting for Martinez to change his plans like this? To go back on a man's word. As some might say, oh, he didn't follow through with his word against Gonzalez when you already whooped the man's ass twice. Like, not a question of what if or buts, like definitively, like destroy the man twice. What's the point of a third fight besides from a free meal ticket? And Ricardo Martinez don't give out free meals. So I'd love to hear the input for Bill Stewart. Too bad we didn't get a chance to see the press conference because I'm quite curious. I'm quite interested about how this could go down. I'm very interested. Very interesting. Very interesting because there's so many things at play now. So many things. Will we finally, after all this time, it's been over 30 years, George. It's been over 30 years, George. Well, I can't say. No, it's been less than that since Ricardo Martinez has been introduced. But overall, will we finally get to see what Ricardo Martinez's true fighting style is like? I've made multiple different videos about Ricardo Martinez, multiple back-to-back, about his mental state and how it's concerning. He could slip up and lose against Billy McCullum. I've made all these videos back-to-back as in the Ippo playlist. And it just makes you wonder, it just makes you question, is now the time? Alright, once again, Miyata has been shot down. That is sad. I'm not destroyed, but it's sad that Miyata is just not doing anything. It is quite tragic that this is the case. But we have Wally. And this fight has been put on steroids because Wally don't fight like a Hoshi or a Mai. Wally is a very unique fighter, very different, and the fact that he's been compared to Takamura versus Bryant Hawk in the Ippo versus Wally fight to just put him on a whole different level. And I cool in the fact that there was no way Miguel Zell would just throw Wally into his fight just to throw him in it. That's not happening. Not after the way he was willing to stop the fight and throw in the towel for Wally. Sure, Wally pretty much got KO'd against Ippo, but he's not going to throw in his last fight or his last hypes and jeans just in there to die. He's not going to do that. And that's not his plans with Wally at all. This is his last son. This is his last disciple. Like, Miguel Zell is not getting any type of younger. He could hit the bucket tomorrow. So it is very important to him that he will only put Wally against these quality of opponents if he's ready. But from that same merit, alright, this is the same Miguel Zell who threw Wally in against Ippo in his third fight. So the question whether Wally is ready or not is the true question. It is the true question right now, alright? It is the true question. Because if he threw Wally in there against Ippo in his third fight, who was he fighting? Who was he fighting for the other 21 fights? And how did he, like, no one has pulled off a record like that since Mike Tyson. Like, fighting like 25 people in about 2 years. Mike Tyson, like, first year of his career, 15 fights. Second year of his career, 13. He fought like 28 people in like 2 years. Only Mike Tyson has pulled off such a thing. And that's actually happened. Check Mike Tyson's record. That is no lie. His first 2 years, he fought 20 people back to back. No tune-ups. Which is a great way to train your fighter if you're not trying to go out there for sparring partners. Just do it just on the job. So, like I brought up, I think like the chapter review, that is something that Anthony Joshua did not have a high class amateur career. He just went in there and just started fighting. So it made a lot of sense why Usyk could beat him in IQ. But things have just gotten like 10 times more interesting. This is concerning. This could be one of the most interesting fights. Wally versus Ricardo Martinez. There's so many things that can actually happen. There's so many ways this fight can actually turn out. There's so many ways. It's so many ways it's concerning. It's concerning. And not including the fact that there's no guarantee that Wally's fight's next, so we don't already know who's the next fight. Because I thought it was going to be Michio, switch over to Hoshi. Anything can happen in the next chapter. And I hope Hoshi's not dead, but there's no guarantee that he is. So it's just... This is quite the time to be alive for an Ippo fan. This is quite the time to be alive for an Ippo fan. So many things are happening. So many things. Ricardo Martinez versus Wally. Who would I believe will win the fight? I put it like this. There is no guarantee that Ricardo Martinez will lose. But there is no guarantee that Ricardo Martinez will win. I think that's the best way I can put it. If we were bettermen, right? Like seriously, everybody will put their money on Ricardo Martinez. We've seen what he did to Billy. We've seen what he done to Gonzalez. We've seen what he done to AJ Dante twice, splitting his nose open and creating a permanent scar. So after you see something like that, how can Wally have a chance? But if Ippo was fighting if Wally was fighting the caliber opponent of Ippo in his third fight, like who was he fighting? Apparently one of the sacred gods, Ippo, Vorg, got cut up and clipped by Wally. Got him pretty good. So what type of animal is he? I'm telling you, that video was a coincidence. It was a complete coincidence when I brought up a veteran Wally. Like seriously, if that was Wally with no type of boxing IQ, if that was Wally with no type of training, then how deadly would Wally be when he has all that stuff? Like seriously, he already got the physical talent, he already got the pitch perfect agility and footwork, and he combines that with an excellent boxing IQ. The man's nearly unstoppable. The only thing is, I don't see Wally being like a final boss material character, or like a character where it's just like maybe he agree. That's the only way I can see Wally winning, if he wins and like Sendo fights him and defeats him, and then we get the whole dream thing of Ippo Sendo fighting for a third time for Undisputed. That's the only way I can see Wally winning. As to what the story could go, it could easily change to be something different, easily. But yeah, there's like a lot of options for this to go, like a lot, and I'm excited. This is some of the most material I've actually had. It's just chapter after chapter, and also there's no break next week. There's no break. There's no break. Man, I said this again. It's not One Piece. I need to control myself. There's no breaks. Man, it's not hot. Man's not hot. I can't wait to see this. I really can't wait to see this. This is. I can't wait to actually see this fight because I have no opinions. I was the only disappointment to come out of Hoshi versus Amai was the fact that Amai and Hoshi did not show off anything new, which is I don't see why not. But Hoshi could be out of the game in general, so yeah. Because if that's all Amai's got against Sendo, he's going to get killed. He's literally going to get murdered. He has no chance of surviving against Sendo. No chance at all. Because if Gonzalez can't knock out Sendo, there's no way in hell Amai is knocking out Sendo. That is not happening. Now, Gonzalez came back from the darkest depths of hell just to knock out Ippo. You think he has a snowball, a water drop chance in hell and knocking out Sendo? No. That is not happening. That is not happening. Sendo put him to sleep permanently. There was no partially unconscious and I woke back up. He put Gonzalez gently into that good night. He was not waking up. No resistance. Sleep. So Amai has no chance. He has no chance against Sendo. No chance. Or Miyata. At least Miyata, he can just catch Miyata slipping. It will just be he had a bad day. But for Sendo, and especially the fact that Hoshi, Amai could have done something to Hoshi? Nah, no way in hell does Amai has a chance against Sendo. No way in hell. But back to the whole main focus, Wally versus Ricardo Rio de Martinez. This could potentially be one of the best drawn fights since Ippo versus Gonzalez. Do you see the panels with Ippo versus Gonzalez? The panel work where Ippo was just dodging Gonzalez's jab. Did you see the panels? The artwork was off the charts. The angles was all over the place. The reason why I love Ricardo and Fred Gonzalez fight, another reason, is just the panels, the artwork, the way everything came together. It was fantastic. It was unbelievable. And this have a possibility being the same way. Very strong possibility. With Wally's footwork and Ricardo Martinez purchase, a very high cut pick release. Based off of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Ricardo Martinez versus Wally. A man with some of the best boxing talent the world has ever seen. And it seems like he's improved. Could we see a potential glimpse of what a Gake could have become? With the footwork, with the punching. Only difference is, Wally punched more like Brian than Itagaki ever did. And arguably, Wally has the best trainer you could ever have from. Because, let's be honest, Miguel didn't really train Brian. He only really trained Ralph Anderson, and that was it. That was the only person he trained. Brian Hawk does not train. Brian Hawk just go against sparring partners and just make sure Miguel gets paid. That's it. That's all that happens. But for Wally, a student that's brand new, fresh, someone he can actually work with, someone who's enthusiastic to learn about the sport, there is no conceivable way that Wally cannot be on the same tier with Ricardo Martinez. But there's no way. There's a chance that Wally could even defeat Sindo, and that's a different breed. Now some might say, well, you can say this and that, but what about Ippo? If Ippo was still fighting, and then it would be a totally different story. A totally different story. But that is not what is happening. Ippo, at this point, I might have to make a video about it. I might have to make a video about it. Yeah, I might have to make a video about it. But I'll leave my opinions about Ippo on the side, because this could be actually be concerning. Because at this point, I will admit, with Ippo, things have gotten desperate. Things have gotten extremely desperate. Alright, so many things are happening in the sport, and at this point, we might have to consider the sad truth of the situation. And it's very sad if it does happen, but it's a high possibility. But I've been sure you got thoughts in the pen. Those are pretty much my predictions and thoughts on Wally versus Ricardo Martinez, the real deal, the El Diablo of Mexico, the man so feared. This man has had over 60 championship defenses. We don't even know how much, we don't even know how many champions this man has fought. We don't even know what this man actually fights like. But we've seen what Wally's got. But I hope, unlike a mind, Hoshi would actually, Wally would actually improve. Wally would actually show some new technique to his game. There is no way, since Miguel Zale is willing, Miguel Zale is a perfect trainer for him, and Wally is willing to train. But yeah, I've been holding off that Ippo video for a while, and it might be a sad case, and I hope it's not true. But it just might be. And if it does, I won't be mad, but it would be very sad. Let me South Canada got thoughts in the opinion. Who do you think is going to win between Wally and Ricardo Rio de Martinez? Do you believe that Wally, with his supposed broken talent, will you believe that Ricardo just doesn't have a chance and he'll be saved by the ill plot armor? Or do you believe that Ricardo Martinez would show why he's the pound for pound super champion, why he is known as the El Diablo? He will show why Ricardo Martinez, Fred Gonzalez and AJ Dante never stood a chance in hell against him, why he's in a different league altogether. And this is quite the time to be alive for a fan. If you miss Shop King, look guys, thoughts and opinions, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.